Throughout human history, civilizations have crafted laws with chilling consequences for those who dare to break them. Enforcing order with methods that grew increasingly severe, societies resorted to punishments such as hanging, burning, and stoning, each highlighting the extreme lengths humanity has gone to uphold the law. But as horrifying as these methods sound, our ancestors devised even more twisted and terrifying punishments. From scorching bulls to being eaten alive by bugs, join us today as we delve into some of the most bone-chilling punishments in history. This is part one of our journey through the darkest corners of justice. The Brazen Bull. Ancient Greece was the birthplace of a horrifying torture device known as the Brazen Bull. This device was designed as a terrifying means of execution to deter dissenters under tyrannical rule. It was a life-size bronze statue of a bull featuring an entrance on one side. This door allowed victims to be placed inside the bull, which was then securely sealed. Below the bull, a fire would be lit, slowly heating the metal until it glowed red hot. Inside, the victim would suffer excruciating pain as the temperature within the bull's chamber soared. Ingeniously crafted, the bull's head was designed to convert the screams of agony into deep, booming bellows that mimicked the sounds of a real bull. This macabre feature amplified the psychological terror inflicted on both the victim and the onlookers. Due to the extreme pain and the psychological torment of being slowly roasted alive, the Brazen Bull remains one of history's most brutal torture methods. The Iron Maiden. The Iron Maiden first emerged in Europe during the Middle Ages. While its exact origins are unclear, it gained notoriety in the late 18th century as a tool for terror and torture. It was primarily used by authorities to extract confessions, punish the accused, and instill fear in potential wrongdoers. The device resembled a large vertical cabinet or tomb, its inner surfaces lined with menacing spikes. When a victim was placed inside and the door shut, the strategically positioned spikes, designed to avoid vital organs, would pierce the victim's flesh. This caused severe pain and significant puncture wounds, deliberately prolonging the agony rather than causing immediate death. The experience of being inside the Iron Maiden was torturously painful. The spikes induced intense pain and suffering as they slowly penetrated the body. Throughout history, there are numerous recorded instances of the Iron Maiden's use. One notable example is its employment as a punitive measure for criminals in Nuremberg, Germany. The rack, a dreadful instrument of torture, has its origins in early modern and medieval Europe, used in the 18th century, with the earliest documented uses dating back to the late 15th century. The rack was a simple yet brutally effective device. It consisted of a rectangular frame equipped with ropes or chains at each end connected to rollers. The victim's ankles and wrists were secured to these rollers. As the torturer turned the rollers, the victim's limbs were pulled in opposite directions, inflicting intense pain. This mechanical stretching often resulted in severe muscle injuries, broken bones, and dislocated joints. The ordeal caused profound physical and psychological suffering. The excruciating pain of being stretched, compounded with the horrific anticipation that the torture could continue until a confession was obtained or the victim perished. It was used during the Spanish Inquisition to coerce confessions from those accused of religious offenses, such as blasphemy. In England, under Queen Elizabeth I's rule, it was employed to extract confessions from individuals suspected of conspiring against the monarchy. The Judas Cradle was designed as a merciless instrument of torture and certainly lived up to its grim reputation. Victims of the Judas Cradle were positioned over a wooden or metal pyramid-shaped contraption, pointed at their genitals or anus. Typically suspended above the device, victims, often with their hands and feet bound, were slowly lowered onto the sharp apex of the pyramid. The pain and discomfort experienced were excruciating. As the body's full weight pressed down, the sharp point penetrated deeply, causing severe injuries. During the Spanish Inquisition, the Judas Cradle was commonly used to extract confessions from those accused of heresy and witchcraft. It also served as a public form of punishment in medieval Europe, intended to deter others from committing similar offenses by making an example of the victims. The effectiveness of the Judas Cradle as a tool for coercion and control was evident in its psychological impact, compelling victims to confess to crimes they might not have committed just to escape the relentless agony. Scaphism. Scaphism, also known as the boats, is a gruesome ancient Persian method of torture and execution. This horrific practice was first documented in the 1st century AD by the Greek historian Plutarch, who described it as a form of capital punishment designed to inflict intense pain and suffering. In this method, the victim was encased between 2 small boats or hollowed-out tree trunks, with only their limbs exposed. Executioners then force-fed the victim a mixture of milk and honey, which served a dual purpose. It caused severe diarrhea, which attracted insects, encouraged dirt and infection, while also nourishing the victim to delay death. As a result, insects would slowly consume the victim's exposed flesh, causing immense agony and ultimately leading to death. Scaphism stands as one of the most torturous execution methods ever devised due to the relentless pain and the continual assault by insects and parasites. While originating in ancient Persia, Scaphism was not confined to that region. Historical accounts note its use in various places, including Greece and the Middle East, primarily as a form of punishment and execution for those convicted of major offenses or as political dissidents. We've only scratched the surface of the dark and twisted methods used to enforce justice throughout the history. Tune in for part 2, where we'll uncover even more bone-chilling tactics that our ancestors resorted to. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified about our latest videos.